Welcome back to the deep dive, where we crack open the sources and really get into the hidden knowledge inside.
Slow.
Today, we are tackling something pretty spectacular. A strategic battle, really, that ended up with the single largest cash prize ever giving out in network television history.
Yeah, we're talking reality TV records just being completely smashed, set against, a tropical island backdrop, high-stakes alliances, secret deals.
And just the ultimate test of nerve, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a game that was just defined by risk. And our mission today, well, it's to decode the strategies, maybe some hidden agendas, and definitely the core mechanics of NBC's Deal or No Deal Island. We're focusing mainly on Season 2.
Right, Season 2, because that's where this unprecedented financial victory happened.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just state the number right up front. The number you need to keep in your head, the one that just broke every financial barrier we've seen on these shows, $5.8 million.
$5.8 million. It's staggering.
Secured by David Genat, who, as we'll get into, is a bit of a reality television veteran himself. But that number, it didn't just break the record, it, obliterated it.
Yeah, it really did. And Dondi Eye, the show itself, it's fascinating because it's this ultimate hybrid, right?
Yeah, how so?
Well, it takes the really grueling physical side, the social endurance you see on shows like Survivor.
Okay.
And then it merges it, pretty seamlessly actually, with the pure psychological torture of that classic deal or no deal briefcase dilemma.
Ah, so it's not just luck with the cases. You need the physical strength, the social game.
And you need to be a brilliant mathematician almost, under extreme pressure. It tests everything.
And guiding the players through this whole pressure cooker, you've got host Joe Manganiello. He's sort of the gaming liaison, right? Keeps that dark, high-stakes tone going.
Exactly. But before we jump straight to the record win, we really need to understand the rules here. Because this game, it's way more complex than the original Deal or No Deal people might remember.
Definitely. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. Right, so the core setup, first off, forget the brightly lit studio. This whole thing happens on the banker's private island. It's supposed to be elusive, mysterious.
Gets a mood right away. Isolation, high stakes.
Totally. And the sources say there's theoretically over $200 million in prize money just hidden in briefcases scattered all over this island, in the jungle, on the beaches.
Okay, so there's the survivor element right there. You're not just sitting around waiting for your turn. You're actively competing, right? Grueling challenges, physical, mental.
Day after day. You're trying to find these cases, secure them, claim them. And the physical exertion, the heat, the stress, it's all got to affect your thinking when the actual money game starts later that night.
Right, because the value of the cases in the nightly deal or no deal game, that's determined by how well everyone did in these challenges.
Entirely, yeah. A typical episode is basically players compete like mad to get briefcases, knowing that the value inside those cases could mean safety or elimination.
And there's a big reward for being the best performer, isn't there? Like whoever gets the highest value case.
They don't just get bragging rights, no. They get absolute immunity. Safe from elimination for that round.
Huge advantage. But I remember reading it's kind of a double-edged sword.
It is, because that immunity comes with this terrifying power. The immune player gets to choose one of their competitors to send into the temple.
Ah, the temple. This is the key part, isn't it, where the game shifts.
Completely shifts. From physical endurance to pure nerve-wracking negotiation.
Okay, let's maybe slow down here and unpack the temple decision, because this feels like the engine of the whole show, right? Elimination, how the prize money grows.
Yeah.
It all happens here.
It really is the core. So you get chosen, you walk into the temple, and bam, you're playing classic Deal or No Deal, but with a massive twist.
And the twist is life or death, basically, in game terms.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You play a full round, you get offers from the banker. Now, if you accept an offer that's less valuable than the case you're holding, that's a bad deal.
And a bad deal means?
You're out. Immediately terminated. Eliminated from the game. No second chances, no appeals. That's it. Done.
Brutal. Okay, but what if you make a good deal?
Ah, now that's where the power comes in. If you negotiate well and you accept an offer from the banker that's higher than what's in your case, that's a good deal. First, you survive. You're safe.
Okay.
But, and this is crucial, you then gain the power to eliminate someone else. You choose who goes home next from the players who aren't immune.
Wow. So your negotiation skill directly translates into strategic power. You can save yourself and take out a rival in one move.
Exactly. It weaponizes the negotiation. A smart player or maybe just the lucky one, can use a good deal to completely change the game dynamics
Yeah.
by removing a threat they maybe couldn't beat physically. It adds this whole other layer of strategy, you know?
Absolutely. Now, the other really big thing about Don DI, the thing that makes the scale so huge, is the prize pot. It's not fixed, right? It grows.
Exponentially, yeah. This is really critical for listeners to grasp. The final amount the last player standing competes for isn't set at the start. Instead, the winnings from every single round in the temple get added to one big group pot.
Wait, hang on. Every round, even if the player gets eliminated.
Yes, even if they make a bad deal. Let's say someone holds a $500,000 case, right?
Right.
And they get nervous. They accept a $200,000 offer from the banker.
So that's a bad deal. They're eliminated.
Correct. But that $200,000 they accepted, it goes straight into the cumulative pot for the eventual winner.
I see. So even failure feeds the final prize. What happens to the other $300,000 from their case?
That goes back into the general pool, basically, back out onto the island to be found again later. But the key thing is, the $200 they walked away with inflates the final jackpot.
That creates some weird incentives, doesn't it? Like, maybe early on, people in the temple might be tempted to accept slightly higher offers just to boost the final pot they work to play for.
Or the banker has a huge incentive to offer really low amounts because every dollar the banker saves stays out of that final pot. But if a player makes a good deal, say they have a $75 case and accept a $1 million offer,
That whole million goes into the pot.
the full million, yep. And the result is these potentially astronomical jackpots. We saw it in season 1, right? The winner, Jordan Fowler, she was playing for a final cumulative total of $13,857,000.
13 million. Just staggering.
Every single deal, good or bad, every negotiation success or failure just keeps raising the stakes for whoever makes it to that final showdown.
Which explains why the kind of players Don DI attracts. They're often not your average reality show contestant.
Right. So if the game is that intense, you need the physical side, the social manipulation, and this cold-blooded math skill under pressure who thrives. It seems like it really favors people who already have that competitive strategy kind of built in.
Oh, definitely. And that's why you see this congregation of known gamers, reality TV veterans, people who just inherently get social strategy, risk management, how to endure being filmed constantly under pressure. That experience gives them a massive edge.
And the sources point straight to the season 2 winner, David Genat. His background is pretty serious, right? It's huge. He was on Australian Survivor twice, and he actually won an all-star season. They called him the Golden God down there.
Okay, a proven winner. But here's the kicker, the really smart play. He apparently kept all of that completely hidden from the other players in season 2.
Yeah, total strategic concealment, which was genius, really, in a game like this. If the others knew they were up against this legendary Survivor champion.
Instant target. Biggest threat on the island from day one.
Exactly. But by playing it cool, presenting himself as just this charming, maybe slightly naive newcomer, he could maneuver. He formed his alliance, the family, without setting off those immediate alarm bells.
Very calculated. And he wasn't the only big name in season 2, was he?
No, not at all. You had Will Kirby, the legendary strategic mastermind from Big Brother. You had Parvati Shallow, another absolute titan from Survivor. It really shows that Dundee is attracting, the top tier, people who are serious about playing the game.
And season 1, of course, had maybe the most famous Survivor strategist of all time, Boston Rob Mariano.
Right. And Rob is known for that blend of social strategy and, crucially, his ability to stay detached, to avoid emotional play, which in a game where getting emotional in the temple can lead to a bad deal and instant elimination. That detachment is key.
Though Rob's reputation definitely preceded him, he had that huge target from the start. But it was fascinating watching him try to use that reputation, kind of manipulate the dynamics to shift the heat elsewhere.
Yeah, he played the target game well. Now, speaking of Season 1 strategy, we got some really interesting insights from another contestant, Dawson Addis. He was part of that very visible alliance, the Night Owls.
Right, Dawson. He made headlines for a different reason, didn't he? He took an offer.
He did. He opted out. The banker made him a personal offer, separate from the main game, for $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And Dawson took it, voluntarily eliminating himself.
He called it a prideful moment, I remember reading. What was the logic there? Walking away from potentially millions.
Well, he explained it as pure risk assessment.
Hmm.
He looked at the odds. He said it was like a 1 in 6 chance at that point of winning the big prize, and decided the risk of walking away with absolutely nothing was just too high compared to locking in a guaranteed life-changing $100,000.
So calculated risk management beating out the sort of gambling fever that can take over, taking control of his own exit.
Exactly, walking away on his own terms. But Dawson's time on the show also gave us a peek into the internal politics, especially his conflict with Boston Rob.
Ah, yeah, what was that about?
Dawson apparently confronted Rob because he suspected Rob and another player, Aaron, were maybe trying to intentionally throw a challenge, that bluffer and bluffy boat challenge.
Oh, the challenge, why?
Well, Dawson's suspicion was that Rob saw Aaron as maybe less physically capable, someone Rob could potentially beat easily at the end. So the idea was keep Aaron around, maybe even help him along so you have an easier opponent in the finale.
Classic strategy, but shady if true.
Right. And Dawson said he was really frustrated when Rob tried to sort of deny or hide the conversation happened.
Okay.
It apparently solidified Dawson's decision to kind of move away from Rob strategically. Shows how quickly trust erodes when people sense that kind of self-serving manipulation.
Definitely. Okay, now, you mentioned Dawson gave insights. Did he reveal anything else? Maybe something less visible?
Now here's the really juicy bit, the deep dive nugget. Dawson revealed there was this key, really powerful alliance in Season 1 that production just never showed. It completely highlights how much strategy happens off camera, how the final edit shapes what we, the viewers, understand.
A secret alliance. Tell me more. Who is involved?
So, according to Dawson, on day 1, the very first day, he and Alyssa Cleansing made a pact. He actually called it their gay alliance. They agreed right then and there.
Yeah.
Final 2. We stick together no matter what until the end.
Wow, day 1, final 2. That's bold.
Yeah.
But how do you keep that secret in that environment?
That was the genius and the difficulty. Their whole strategy depended on keeping their bond completely non-obvious. They couldn't be seen talking strategy too much, couldn't seem too close. Any hint of a power duo.
And they'd both be immediate targets. Everyone else would team up to break them apart.
Precisely. So it required incredible discipline. Dawson said it was exhausting. They had to be super friendly with everyone else, find these tiny, covert moments for their real strategic talks.
Did anyone else know? Like their main alliance, the Night Owls?
Interestingly, yes. The Night Owls did apparently know about the Dawson-Alyssa bond, which shows you these alliances can be complex, multi-layered things. But Dawson was explicit with the Night Owls. He told them he would not vote Alyssa out, even if it seemed like the best move for the Night Owls game at that moment.
That's a huge commitment. Prioritizing that secret pact over the visible alliance's immediate goals.
It absolutely is. And Dawson, he expressed frustration that none of this made the final cut. All those secret talks, the times he warned Alyssa she was being targeted, their joint planning, none of it broadcast.
So viewers missed a whole layer of really disciplined loyalty and deep strategy. It wasn't just challenges and temple games, it was this constant, draining social performance, too.
Exactly. A hidden game running underneath the one we saw.
Okay, so that sets the stage for Season 2 and David Genat's eventual win. But that record-breaking $5.8 million, it didn't just materialize out of nowhere. The pot had to get massive first. And that happened because of specific moments earlier in the season, right?
Absolutely. You really need to look at the players who dramatically inflated that cumulative jackpot before David even got near the final temple game. One player in particular stands out.
Who are we talking about?
Dixon Wong. He was 24 from Wood River, Illinois. In Season 2, Dixon had this absolutely historic moment in the temple. He single-handedly added a foundational $5 million to the prize pot in one round.
$5 million, just like that.
Pure nerve. He got into the temple, and he became utterly convinced he was holding the briefcase with $5 million inside. And he just refused to back down.
So the banker must have been trying desperately to buy him out cheap, to keep that $5 million off the board and out of the pot.
Oh, yeah. The offers started coming, and they got huge. Dixon turned down, first, $421,000.
Wow, okay. Life-changing money already.
Then the banker offered $1.45 million. Dixon said, no deal.
Over $1 million rejected.
Then came the really monumental offer, $3.2 million. $3.2 million sitting there. And Dixon, convinced he had the $5 million again, said no deal. His gut, maybe the way the other cases were being eliminated, just told him he had the big one.
Did he?
He did. He was right. When they finally revealed his case, it was the $5 million. The reaction from the other castaways watching was apparently insane. They were yelling, "Big Dixon energy!" Joe Angoniello confirmed it was an island record for a single case value being secured like that.
Incredible. So because he held the $5 million and presumably made a good deal eventually, that $5 million, or a big chunk of it, went into the main pot.
Well, he made a good deal, yes. After that $5 million reveal, the cumulative pot immediately jumped to $5,531,001. That single negotiation by Dixon basically laid the groundwork for the eventual record because that pot just kept growing. And by the time David Genat got to the finale, the total prize he was playing for was over $12 million. $12,232,001 to be exact.
Amazing. So Dixon survived the temple, made a fortune for the group pot, then he gained the power of elimination, right?
Correct, because he made that good deal. He was now in this incredibly powerful position, having just massively boosted everyone's potential winnings. But his choice of who to eliminate, who boy, it was controversial, shocking even to the veterans there.
Really? Who did he pick, and why was it so controversial?
He chose to eliminate Storm Wilson, and it just caught everyone off guard. Storm herself, obviously. Storm's sort of showman's partner, Maria Grace, and even the strategic veterans like Will Kirby were stunned.
Why? Was it seen as illogical, or...?
No, it seemed like pure, brutal logic, not social politics. Dixon basically said, look, I came here to play. I need to take out threats. I need to give myself the best chance to win. He saw Storm as a strong competitor, maybe too popular, and made the cold-blooded decision to remove him, despite the emotional fallout.
What was the fallout?
Well, you had the drama of Storm and Maria Grace having this big kiss goodbye, the whole showman's angle played up. But strategically, Will Kirby was furious because Dixon didn't eliminate Will's target, CK.
Ah, so Dixon used his power for his own game, not to help Will's game or play nice socially.
Exactly. And Will apparently vowed revenge against Dixon's alliance, the family. It just highlights that tension, right? Success in the temple gives you power, but using that power inevitably creates enemies. Dixon cleaned house strategically, but it definitely cost him social capital and put targets on his alliance. So the stage was well and truly set. The pot was enormous, over $12 million. Alliances had shifted, and we finally get to the Season 2 climax. David Genat, the stealth survivor champ, managed to beat Alexis Leet in that final grueling island challenge,
Earning him the spot.
Yeah.
Final confrontation, one player left to face the banker for that massive prize.
But first, the reveal. The banker had been this shadowy figure for 2 seasons, right, pulling the strings. Joe Manganiello had been teasing it.
Yeah, the mastermind behind the madness. Who was it?
And the reveal was just perfect deal or no deal lore. It was Chrissy Teigen. She was unveiled as the banker for that final temple ceremony.
Chrissy Teigen. Wow. Taking over from Howie Mandel, the executive producer, who'd maybe been the banker voice before.
Seems like it, yeah. And the great thing, the layer this added, was Chrissy herself confirming her history with the show. She said, you know, long before she was famous, long before she was the banker.
She was a briefcase model. I remember that.
Exactly. Christine, case model number 12, she said, on the original Deal or No Deal. So she literally went from being part of the scenery, holding a case, to being the ultimate antagonist running the game. Full circle.
Amazing. Okay, so David Genat, the guy who hid his golden god status for weeks, now faces Chrissy Teigen, the former case model 12 turned banker, for over $12 million. The pressure must have been immense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Chrissy immediately went into psychological warfare mode. She started using David's own history against him, trying to get in his head.
How so? What was the first offer?
Okay, so after round 4, the full $12 million is still possibly in play. Chrissy makes her first offer, and it's designed to be a benchmark. She asked David, how much did you win on Australian Survivor?
Yeah.
He says $500,000.
Okay.
So Chrissy, using that number, offers him 3 times that amount. $1,523,000.
$1.5 million. Right off the bat. That's huge.
It was incredibly clever, designed to appeal to his ego, his past achievements. It's comfortable, it's life-changing money. The other contestants watching were apparently begging him, yelling, take the deal.
But David...
David, cool as you like, just looked at her and said, no deal.
Wow. Just like that. Rejecting over $1.5 million.
The decisiveness was stunning. People watching said he seemed completely locked in on that gambling route, like a man possessed by the idea of the huge jackpot. Chrissy had no choice but to go higher.
What was the next offer?
Round 5. She raises the stakes again. Another financial benchmark for the show. $1,980,000. Nearly $2 million cash.
Almost $2 million.
And again, you hear the pleas from the sidelines. The other veterans are losing their minds. David, just focused on the board, shakes his head. No deal.
He must have been eliminating the low-value cases really well to have this confidence.
That's where his skill, or maybe luck, really came in.
Yeah.
He kept defying the odds. He was successfully knocking out the small amounts, the $1, the $100, leaving the bigger numbers, including that $12 million, on the board. He was forcing the banker into a corner.
So the pressure starts shifting back onto Chrissy.
Totally. He gets lucky again, eliminates another low-value case. And now Chrissy has fewer places to hide. She has to make a massive offer. The sources say the drama was so intense, Chrissy Teigen, the banker, actually collapsed onto her knees on the temple floor, visibly pleading with him.
On her knees. Wow, what was that offer? The penultimate one.
She framed it emotionally, saying he was inspired by his family. The offer was $3,870,018, nearly $4 million, guaranteed.
3.8 million. And David's facing, what, maybe a 1 in 3 chance by now of having a tiny amount in his case? Lose it all?
Exactly. A huge risk of walking away with practically nothing. Yet his belief, or his calculation, whatever it was, held firm. He looked at Chrissy on her knees, offering nearly $4 million, and he said it again. The word that just sent everyone into hysterics. No deal.
Unbelievable. He's going all the way. He must be.
He was committed now. He'd already turned down millions. He was playing for the ultimate prize or nothing. The tension as he chose that final case to eliminate.
Yeah.
You could cut it with a knife.
Does his luck hold? Does he eliminate another low one?
Luck or fate or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. It was absolutely on his side in that critical moment. He picked again.
Yeah.
And yes, he eliminated another low-value case.
Oh, my God. So now Chrissy is in an impossible spot. She has to offer something astronomical, right?
Completely backed into a corner.
Yeah.
She has to make an offer so big it sets a new record, something almost unthinkable, or risk him saying no deal one last time and potentially walking away with the full $12 million if he has it.
So the final offer, what was it?
Chrissy, probably still reeling, gathers herself. She announces, this is by far the ultimate financial benchmark in deal or no deal history. The final offer was $5,800,000.
$5.8 million.
The highest offer ever made on the show, by a huge margin. Manganiello jumps in, driving home the stakes. David, if you accept this, you win the most money ever won on network television, period. If you say no deal and your case has, say, $75 in it, you are the biggest loser in TV history.
The pressure from gambling rogue to potential historic loser in one choice.
And this is that critical pivot point we talked about. Genat had been the ultimate risk taker up to now, driven by confidence, maybe ambition, maybe greed. But now he had to switch gears. He had to become the disciplined profit protector. Is a guaranteed $5.8 million record better than a, maybe 50-50 shot now at $12 million versus almost nothing?
He'd need incredible hubris to reject the record-breaking $5.8 million at that point.
He wrestled with it. You could see it. The gleam of the $12 million versus the certainty of the record. But in the end, financial logic, maybe self-preservation, won out. He looked at Chrissy Teigen, and finally, he said deal.
He took the $5.8 million, the record. Okay, but the final reveal. What was actually in his case? Did he make a good deal or a bad deal?
And here is the punchline. The thing that makes this whole story just legendary. After accepting the record $5.8 million, David Genat opened his case. The one he'd been holding on to, believing in, rejecting millions for. Inside.
Don't tell me.
$75.
$75? No way.
$75. He made an incredibly good deal. He was one final no deal away from walking out of there with pocket change after turning down millions.
So he avoided being the biggest loser by accepting the biggest offer. The discipline to switch from gambler to pragmatist right at the peak, that's what secured it.
Exactly. It wasn't just luck. It was recognizing the moment to stop pushing the luck. Chrissy Teigen just looked stunned. Her only comment was apparently unreal. Hashtag tag outro. So if we synthesize this whole deep dive into deal or no deal island, what do we really see?
Yeah.
It feels like a game of maybe 3 distinct phases.
Okay, what are they?
First, there's that physical endurance phase. You got to survive the challenges, get your hands on the cases, secure that initial value or immunity.
Right, the survivor part.
Yeah. Then comes the social endurance, the alliances, the manipulation, the stealth plays, like Genat hiding his survivor past, or that secret Dawson-Alyssa alliance that never even aired, navigating those treacherous social waters and eliminations.
Makes sense. And the third phase?
That's the final phase. Pure psychological warfare. The temple. Those high-stakes negotiations demand just impeccable timing, nerves of steel, and crucially, that discipline to know when to pivot, when to stop chasing the absolute maximum and lock in a win.
Which is exactly what David Genat did. The guy had the sheer guts to turn down nearly $4 million.
Right. But he also had the self-control, the logic to accept $5.8 million when his own case held almost nothing. That final deal wasn't a gamble anymore. It was a calculated, strategically sound exit right at the absolute peak of risk.
He walks away with $5.8 million holding 75 bucks.
Incredible.
Just incredible. So here's the final thought we want to leave you, the listener, with. Put yourself in David Genat's shoes for a second. You're in the temple, the lights are hot, Chrissy Teigen is staring you down, maybe even on her knees begging. You know the pot is over $12 million. You've just rejected offer after offer. You're one lucky guess away, maybe, from that $12 million grand prize. Then comes the offer, $5.8 million, a guaranteed record, knowing you might have the big one, but you might also have pennies. Would you have the discipline to say deal? To take the record-breaking certainty? Or would that siren song of doubling your winnings, of getting the absolute maximum, lure you into risking it all?
It's a tough one to honestly answer, isn't it? That high-stakes choice.
Something to think about.
Definitely. Until next time on The Deep Dive.